Hey guys, it's Viewmasters Reactions, and we're back with Mighty Nein Time, episode 133, Hunter and Hunted. We just got finished fighting two gigantic beasts. Matt called them partners. Jester, aka Laura, didn't like it too much because it made it more real, like they were significant others, and we murdered one of them, and then the other came running around the corner, seeing its lover destroyed and stabbed, because when we stabbed it, meaning Yasha gave it like a hearty stab after the fact. It screeched out, which alerted the other one. Then we did it again, and I was like, oh my god, somebody, I think it was Sam, pointed out, maybe that's how the second one got alerted. I didn't even think like that, and then I'm like, oh shit, we're gonna get a third one. We already got banged up. These things only got one turn off each. It shot a cone of icy blast fire. I forget what he called it. He said like ice fire, whatever it was. It was a cone of damage, and the first one was like 49, the second one was 52. Even if you had it half, Jester was getting half of half, because both times she halved it, but she's resistant to ice and frost and cold, so she halved the half. But people like Veth and Caleb were getting banged up quick. We were able to take it out in one rotation of turns, and then the second one came, got an attack off, we killed that in one rotation of turns. Now Matt was like, how do you want to do this? We're going to go deeper in. We talked to the Traveler. We did the ritual. We tried to do it in the beginning of the Patreon hour. That's when we got hunted by these things. I'm willing to bet that was the hunter and hunted part of it. I mean, there could be more. I'm thinking we're going to go deeper in, and more beasties and craziness is going to come after us. Even if it doesn't, we are all pretty banged up. We used a bunch of spell slots. I mean, not a whole lot, I guess. But Essek is halved. I don't think we could really rest in these conditions. We asked the Traveler about Ikathon. We asked about, are the Tomb Takers within a half a day's travel of us? And Matt said yes. I thought that question was worded badly, even though I spoke horrible English right there. I think Jester could have worded that better. She said, are they less than half a day behind us? And Matt goes, you could say that. So am I wrong to believe that they technically could be ahead of us? If somebody's ahead of you and you are answering a question and you're being technical and it's like, are they less than half a day behind us? Technically ahead of you is less than half a day. I know that's kind of encryptic, but I feel like that is how the Traveler would talk, and anybody would talk literally, because you're asking a yes or no question. So they can't say no if they're ahead of you. How would you answer that is my point. If the person's ahead of you and it's a yes or no question, how could you answer that unless saying yes the way he said it could also mean it? Now, does it mean that? I don't know, and probably not, but there's no other way Matt can answer that. They could be ahead of us is my point. Now, also, if they were ahead of us, these beasties probably wouldn't be on our way, and we probably wouldn't have had to fight them, but who knows? Maybe they were more stealthy because they were kind of in the shadows, these beasties, and the second one was alerted by the first one screeching. So maybe the Tomb Takers just stealthily walked through and didn't attract these things. I don't know, but I'm just pointing out there's possibilities. Let's jump in. We're going to do 25 minutes. I'm going to do a lot more because there is so much time this episode, and we didn't do the 30 extra minutes in the live stream, which I hope we do this coming week. So you guys want to see more of what I do? In the description of every video is a link for Patreon. That's how you can ask me to watch whatever you want at a certain tier level, and how we have thousands of exclusives over on Patreon, like Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Vox Machina Season 3 is starting, Cobra Kai and Stranger Things final seasons, Jackie Chan movies every month. We just finished House of the Dragon Season 2. There are so many things full unedited. Check it out. If not, Mighty Nein Time, episode 133, Hunter and Hunted. All right.
So, continuing down the extended hall, you can see some of the little pockets in the sides where some of these creatures have been traveling. There's little gaps in the wall, almost like side ducting, where you can see it's kind of broken and their space has been pushed through by where they move. But the hallway continues and then begins into an incline. About 150 or so feet in from this intersection.
I'll add into, like, Caleb this is not the dumbest Caleb has ever been as an animal, so I'm going slow. He's going like...
Apes are very smart.
Yeah, he's going real slow and like putting a toe out and feeling and waiting a second.
I like it.
Because he is
so he's not just willy-nilly running along.
It's like his maneuver
he's
behind
checking.
To kind of
we
like
also, at the very
sort of
last thing we did before we did the order, we talked about whether or not we should use our booby trap.
Progressing towards where it begins to incline, you can see the incline was not natural. The metallic ceiling above seems to have crinkled upward, like what was once a straight path has been shoved and bent into an upward angle, and as it continues upward, it is uneven. The impact and damage of the city seems to have completely offset what was once a straight path, but it continues at about a 45-degree angle upward.
All right.
The frost and ice making it a somewhat precarious climb, though you can use the rubble and bits of exposed materials to try and aid you up, but it is a bit of a climb. Do you continue to try and climb?
I figured we'll do 25 minutes because that'll put us at 137, which will give us 40 minutes exactly to the break, and an hour and 40 minutes after the break. So that'll give us 2 hours, 20 minutes this week coming up. Longest live stream we've had in a while.
All right, so 11.
I did not give myself guidance, so 6.
6.
20.
20.
20 also over here.
For athletics? Nice.
Yeah.
Has to be athletics, not acrobatics?
Yes, for this.
Okay.
18.
Hey, worth asking.
18. Nice.
Sometimes Matt will go, all right,
This is a very,
fine
very,
either way.
very smooth, icy, slick surface. Acrobatics will not help you here. Beauregard.
19.
19. All right.
I feel like I mean,
This
I
is
get
a
the question.
bit of a
Acrobatics would
challenge,
make sense to me,
and
but Matt said
most
no.
of you managed to begin to make the climb.
I get the difference.
As hard
I feel
as
like
it is,
it could be argued.
kind of leaping from section of exposed rubble to heavy metal bars that are bent outward and using those to get ahead. Those that rolled lower than a 15, you do stumble back as you lose your grip and lose about 30 or 40 feet upward and do take a little bit of impact damage.
Not good.
12 points of bludgeoning damage for those of you that rolled lower than a 15.
Soften.
Yep.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Death.
Everyone
by
who failed, I need you to
1,000
roll again.
cuts.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone who failed needs to roll again.
Guidance.
Guidance on herself. 25.
25,
Definitely
all right.
pass. Jester falls again. Jester doesn't look happy.
15.
15, alrighty.
I think 15 was
And
enough.
who
Yeah,
else
15.
failed?
Someone rolled 15.
12.
It was
12.
fail.
Bad at this.
The two of you managed to, working in tandem, get up there a bit, and as you get towards the rest of the group, most of the way up to where you can see it begins
Caduceus
to turn
falls
off
again.
and open. The hallway. And this is like a 200-foot climb at this angle, just this ice-filled, kind of
Does Caduceus
broken,
go down
awkward
again?
chamber. Caduceus, you slide back again.
Not good.
You don't go back quite as much this time as you've kind of navigated this now for a second time, but you do take 4 points of bludgeoning damage, not 2.
Ow.
Yeah, not too
Caleb's gonna
bad. But he's
dodge
still
people
trying to
and
get
hop
up there.
down and just scoop him up and put him over his other shoulder.
Okay,
Thank you.
Essex's gonna actually, as you begin moving down, Essex's gonna just be like, you go ahead, and just leaps off and is hovering above the ice, unaffected by the slickness.
Could we have hopped on Essek and took a ride?
All right, go ahead and make your check.
How much weight could Essek hold on a float?
18.
18. With that, the whole group manages to get to the very top of this incline, where it begins to even out slightly. Still at a faint incline, but no longer at that full kind of challenging upward climb.
While I'm moving ahead, can I just kind of have an eye out for any other signs of whoever moved through here last? I know it was like the Tomb Takers and Vess, but
Sure, make a perception.
any signs of
You have your goggles back
activity?
on?
I think I got my goggles back from Veth. Yeah.
Yeah, and for those who do not have dark vision, there should be a light source, or you are having a much harder time.
My sword is out.
I was gonna say Travis or Ford said his sword was
16.
out in the Patreon
16?
hour.
Okay.
Hard pressed to see much in here with the
Ford said his
the
sword was
angle.
out.
There isn't
Ford's
like fresh
sword
snow,
is showing.
so you would imagine you
for
could
us all to
probably
see.
take a moment and really inspect. But at the challenge of this space, it's really difficult to kind of track anything like that. But once you get to a more smooth area, you can have a look.
Yeah. Okay.
So cresting at the end of this hallway, you can see there's a collapsed gap in the hall before it opens up into another lightless chamber ahead of you. About a 12 to 15 foot gap where it just drops about 20 or so feet before it comes to a gradual close. Like a miniature chasm.
How 20 feet?
About 12 to 15
I
feet
would,
across.
before we
Not too
enter, on the
Almost
outskirts of the entrance, I would take a good look
Can we
around.
see to the other side?
You can, with the light source you can
take
have,
a good
and then you can
look
see that it
around.
kind of
Make
drops
sure
off
there's
and opens
nothing
up into a
hiding in the
chamber with no
shadows
light.
like the last place.
And how deep does the chasm?
That's about 20 or so feet.
Okay, so it's not.
It's not deadly or anything. It's just annoying.
Check the ceilings, check the walls, light the place up,
Okay.
if possible, as much as possible.
Not deadly is code for deadly.
You want me to take a look on the other side?
What is it? It's a 15-foot jump?
Yeah, about 12 to 15 feet.
Yeah,
I
I
can do
mean,
that.
We
monk
can
shit.
make like a human bridge.
Definite monk shit. That's easy for a monk.
We could.
Or Bo can hold on to some rope and jump across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go.
Okay, I'll drop some of the hemp rope that I have.
Is there anything invisible down there? I feel like there's.
Nice running. And then
I feel like there's a
Yeah.
good chance there's something down there that we're either not seeing or unaware of.
This
Like a
negates the
banana
challenge
peel.
of like
a
this is
natural 20.
without issue. Even with the slickness of the floor here, you don't even leap across. You jump off the wall and find yourself kind of up the wall running on the opposite side without issue.
That's a good idea. That's exactly what I do.
Natural 20. That's a good idea.
The natural
I
20.
run
I'll spruce
across
that up a
the
bit. I'll
wall.
throw some spice in.
Oh, it comes with me.
Running.
Easy enough to do. And even
Sideways
the only one who would
along
have a
the
challenge using the rope would be you and your ape form. But as an ape form, you can
I can
practically
leap it.
step
I
across
can
it.
leap
Yeah.
It's 20 feet across.
No, it's 12 to 15 feet. You can like
Jump it. He could
with
like
a 10-foot
hardly.
run,
Yeah.
I can clear it.
super easy. So
So are we all going across, or no? You're gonna.
But we
stand
better
around
watch
for
the noise.
Yeah, I'll do a quick.
I mean,
just
Matt
a
didn't
quick
make any kind of
goggles on,
visual
visual pass now that I'm on this side that I'm closer.
faces that would
Okay.
describe so, but Caleb jumping, I mean, the noise of a giant ape
once across
jumping
this
and
gap,
landing over there, I mean, it could
the hallway
trigger
levels out slightly
something.
and ends and opens into an incredibly massive chamber, challenging to gauge in size because there's a limit to your dark vision, but there is some light in here. And it's hard to tell distance, these little specks. 1,000 feet across? More? Whoa. This is a gargantuan cavern network that you're within, or a massive space beneath.
That's where it disappeared.
You can see, filling this space below where you stand, a network of glimpses of a sprawling, broken cityscape, faintly lit by a smattering of still glowing luminescent blue and blue-green lights, like a rolling field of fireflies laying still. You can make out pockets of shapes, like structures and towers, some leaning, some fallen to what appear to be streets. You get the sense that this is the entrance to the Praesidus Ward and beyond.
Praesidus Ward.
Part of
Okay.
this long buried necropolis that is a
Part of this long buried necropolis. Part of this long buried. And we're just entering
Okay.
the Praesidus Ward. Is that what he said? Praesidus?
Do I see anything that I can anchor this rope to?
there are weird damaged bits of the wall and heavy stones you could definitely affix this to.
Okay, I'll tie it off.
Okay.
With that help, one by one, you guys can make your way across the gap without major issue.
What's at the bottom of the gap if we look down? Anything we can see?
No, it looks almost like when it bent downward, it snapped open and left this gap below that just eventually comes to an end. Like the
Oh.
actual, the base foundation of this hallway then cracked open and left this gap.
Okay.
Yeah, then we'll follow.
All right. You guys are all across, and you see what Beauregard had just seen.
Follow.
Just a faint outline. I mean, it's hard to see with the light of the sword that close by to adjust, but if you darken it ever so slightly, and those who cannot see in the dark let their eyes adjust, you can see this massive, rolling, unnaturally scattered city, mostly in shadow with just those little points of blue and blue-green light kind of thrown about.
Is the blue-green light similar or identical to what was thrown off by the bubbles of people we found in the other Aor ruins?
The blue-green, no.
No.
The blue could very well be.
Okay.
And you see hundreds throughout here, and just enough light pollution from these sources to just basically outline the somewhat jagged cragulous ceiling
Matt has
of this chamber
seduced
as well.
me. Sorry, I fell into the world.
But you see a whole
Fell into
section
the world
of
of
the city
Matt's
below.
seduction.
And the
While describing.
hallway
So the blue.
opened
I
out
mean,
into this space. How wide and big is the opening?
It's about 25 feet across and about 20 feet tall.
oh, so it's quite the opening. Okay.
Is this a better ambush point?
I don't know.
Or
I don't know.
fill back where
That's
we were?
quite the open. 25.
place
I
to
mean,
hide.
that's a solid opening.
Well, let's go check it out. There might be more opportunities
The
for...
whole thing?
Let's take a
I
look
don't
at
know.
Yeah, there's a lot,
See what
right?
we're-
That's what
what
I was
we're-
thinking.
see
We
what it's
just
about.
entered.
They're gonna just be on our 6. I guess we have a radio, right?
it. We do.
That's my guess
long
though.
does it
Like
take
there's
to set the
so
intel
much. I
charge?
feel like. Where do
A
we even
minute
be?
if
I mean,
it's
we got to start
successful.
somewhere.
I'll
I
double-check
still
that,
think
but I
we
think that's what
should.
it is.
There's a caveat. It has to be a
Yeah.
20 arcane.
Yeah, it's got to be me. Well, you have a high
Otherwise it
arcana too,
becomes
right?
inert for 24 hours. One and done.
I have an okay arcana.
Okay, yeah, 1 minute. Spend 1 minute. Make a DC 20
So if
intelligence.
they
check.
radioed us right now, we could run back and set them. Probably.
Maybe.
Not at this point. That would be that.
We're pretty sure they're not hot on our trail. That was why we did the commune in the first
Well,
place.
but it's less than you asked less than a certain amount of time, which
Less
could be
than a day.
20 minutes or it could be 23 hours. We're also assuming we're absolutely.
Oh, see, it was
going
less
to
than a day. I
hear
think in the
from,
beginning I said less than half a day,
our
so it was even
spies
worse
because
than I
they
thought.
iced.
100%.
But like I said, it still could mean they're ahead of us. I don't think that's the case. But technically
And,
speaking, if you could only answer yes or no,
Picking,
there's no other way for Matt to answer that.
sorry, I had an idea and I had to share it. Oh, Caleb immediately sits down on the ground, exhausted.
Well, I guess if they're
Maybe
ahead
if
of
we move
you, he
past
can
this
say
point
no.
and we try to
They're
set
not.
the
I mean,
booby
I don't know. It's just the way she worded it to me could be very
past here.
confusing.
There's so many different directions they can run and scatter where things are a little more contained. Behind us maybe is worth considering. Could we take a break?
Like a short rest?
I'm not doing very well.
Oh no.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
he
that's
was a very
right. He
injured
was
before he
messed
turned
up
into an ape.
before he turned into the ape. He was messed up.
Sure.
Got to pick some cover with some distances, a vantage point. So let's go in further and then take that short rest.
Yeah.
Because we're just at the mouth of this thing.
I'm right on you. I'm going to stay right towards you. If anything looks sketchy, I'm gonna.
Maybe I'll walk by you for a while.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Let's move through here. Very
I
quiet.
mean, somebody
very stealthy.
probably
We
should
don't want to get
do
into
a
another
healing
fight.
spell or
And
something
ideally,
minimal
we
on
want
Caleb
to leave behind some
temporarily.
monsters for them.
Like, he's rough. Caleb's less
Yeah,
than half life.
Leave only footprints. Take only memories.
Oh, wow.
Actually, don't
That's
leave
deep.
footprints.
Did you write that?
I did.
Wow.
Leave only
But also don't leave
Prints.
footprints.
And then if you
I was
leave
going to say,
memories,
it
then
doesn't
people
make
are gonna
sense.
talk about
Leave
you.
only
That's
footprints. You
true.
don't want to leave footprints.
I mean, that's.
It sounded good. Leave only footprints. Take only memories. But the leaving footprints
So
is
the
not
healing
wanted.
kit only
The taking
stabilizes
memories
somebody that's down. It doesn't like
Correct.
heal anything.
You can take a feat
Usually.
to
I mean,
actually
what if
heal
they're
hit points with a
horrible
healing
memories?
kit.
You might
I
not want
see.
that either.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess we'll just go into the city and look around.
Yeah.
Big.
It's
Yeah,
very big,
just,
but you can
walking into the
begin the
city.
process if you want to.
Walk down the main
Up to you.
thoroughfare.
Okay.
How high is the ceiling of this
We're gonna get so
giant
many undead
1,000-foot cavern?
dumb.
You just at a glance, you'd say at places it's anywhere from 60 to 100 more feet tall.
All right.
Big.
60
If
to
it's 1,000
100,
feet deep,
possibly
roughly how
higher
wide?
feet tall.
You don't even know how deep it is. You're guessing
Ford
'cause
called
right
it the
now, though, with just a
1,000-foot
very
cavern.
faint
It could be
bit of light that
it's
you can
probably
see.
more than that. It's probably more than 1,000
It's very
feet
hard
deep.
to really get depth perception in this space.
Let's.
I mean, think
let's
about
find
it.
a house
1,000
to hide in,
feet.
maybe.
Yeah,
Stay
300
off the
feet
main
is
road.
roughly a football
We could do
field.
something like that. Find a
That would
house
be
and then
3
always have
football
like
fields.
a
I think it's
scouting
like
party if we don't
probably
want to send
way
everybody in.
And I
more
don't think we
vast
should
than
go
that.
too far. The deeper
No.
in we get, it's two people trying to sync up inside of Rexentroma. A
They could
large
pass
city.
right by us and we wouldn't even know.
Correct.
Yeah, you've lost all advantage at that point.
Correct.
You have
Right.
two
Correct,
people in a
correct.
maze instead of one looking down on the other.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there like a house? Like if we start kind of coming in, is there like even a guard post or a house or something that's
Make
pretty
a
much?
perception check.
All right.
I'll join you in that.
Thank you, Caddy.
I love it.
Do
I've been
some-
looking
you
for
don't have dark
perception
vision.
I
checks
don't have dark
because
vision.
So you
we
have
really haven't took a
disadvantage on this.
solid
I
look
rolled
around.
a natural one.
I rolled a 21.
Nice. Well, thank goodness.
Natural one and a
Those
21.
lights. He's used to seeing firefly lights.
I've been letting it adjust over the last few minutes. I know how dark vision works.
Beginning to pass this threshold into this ward, beyond this tunnel, you can see there are walls around that once probably surrounded this ward, though many of them have fallen in or themselves have had things fall into them. But not more than 30 so feet inward, you can see the beginning of what may have been a neighborhood. There are a dozen or so buildings within this first section, though most of them are fully collapsed. Like, you can see this edge probably took the brunt of the impact of the city, and the city was built to withstand a lot. So the fact that even this much is
kind of
standing and isn't just a complete mess is a testament to its
like
original
if they do
construction
this
and or protective
in the
wards at
animated,
time.
I'm assuming they'd have to.
But even so,
we already know they're
out of
making
these
the Mighty Nine
immediate
very
vicinity
soon.
structures, you only see two that have
This
completely
is probably
collapsed,
later
that have any
on,
sort of
obviously, because we're
interior
dealing
you can
with
probably
like the
walk into
last
with cover.
10
How do they
episodes or
look?
so right now. I mean, we're
They're
down to like
Dubious,
8 episodes.
but you see one that's a smaller building.
But this would probably
maybe a singular story.
I mean, I
may
would
have a
imagine
second
A
story
would
that
be
was
in the
sheared off
climax
or
of
fell.
the
The other
animated
one
show.
is most of a second story, but even that you can only see the wall is partial. They have open windows, and one doorway is currently closed. The door is still affixed. The door has been blown out.
Door it is. Are there any
Door
signs
it
of
is, another door.
previous life? Are there any?
After looking out around, you look down, and on the ground amongst the broken stone and brick and shattered glass, you can begin to see bodies. You see skeletal bodies, long mummified, many crushed in some degree, others incinerated.
Okay, so I was wondering,
it
in my
looks
head, I'm
like
like, I just thought they weren't there.
The long-forgotten aftermath of a cataclysm.
Eyes of the grave.
Eyes of the Grave.
Okay.
In my head, I was like,
Oh,
I just
right.
assumed we would have seen it, so
So
I'm
speak
like,
to the-
where are
speak
all
to
the
dead
people?
I can
and
do
the
that
bodies?
too, but at the
I mean,
moment I'm doing a 60-foot
They're there.
sweep
Yeah,
or
the
undead
undead
activity.
giants outside.
Yeah.
3 undead giants.
As you extend your consciousness
sweep. I
into
think
that
that's a good
space
idea.
between life and death, you breathe a sigh of relief, not sensing anything untoward in between
Odd.
that space.
I mean, that's good,
Good
but surprising.
thinking,
I don't know. I mean, it's good for them, entertainment-wise.
Yeah, let's
it's not as
let's
fun.
scoot everybody into
but
this
probably
place.
for
Give
the
it a
better.
little
Because I'm sure
look through
we'll
and
have
make sure
something
it's
attack
clean
us very,
and,
very soon.
Nothing's nesting in it.
Okay.
Caleb is going to, with a bit of phosphorus in his hand, taking a half beat longer than normal, cast dancing lights and bring globules out, but for once they're roughly the same color as the blue that we can see in the distance.
Okay.
So still glowing,
Cool.
but
Right, but matching the coloration. Okay, fair enough.
And Caleb was the one that
You
asked
all
about the
follow towards
blue.
this
Caleb was
structure?
like, does the blue have to do with blah, blah, blah?
All right.
Quietly.
You approach the outside of it. It's, for the parts that are still standing and aren't completely scuffed or, left to absolute ruin, well made. The arch of the door has fine carved filigree around it. It gives you a glimpse that you can imagine one day this
Did you
was
hear
a
that
very
glass
beautiful city.
smashing? Was that
A
the
lot of
music
thought
in the
and effort
background?
went into just the small details to beautify some of these structures. And it's a shameful contrast, juxtaposition between the care that was obviously put into this and the complete destruction that it now lays surrounded by and is part of. The door itself is very fine wood, but as you approach, you can see that it's mostly off one of the hinges, and while it still stands, not by much.
Crack that bitch off.
Does anybody know how to mend, out of curiosity?
I do. I have mending.
Let's fix this joint just so this thing doesn't rattle and cause a problem. Maybe I'll hold it
I'm
up.
saying snap this bitch. And
You
he's
hear the
like,
faint-
does anyone have mending?
As it does, the metal seems to almost
They
pull
fixed
out
it.
against itself, and the broken hinge retethers, pulls the door, shifts right into place.
I mean, honestly, that's probably
I've
better.
always wanted to learn how to do that. I, just
I
don't
was
have
looking
the-
to just
my-
go inside or
I'd love that, 'cause my-
something
my
like
fingers
that. But I
hate
mean,
that
now
skill.
it's
I don't
probably
know.
better
It's never
that we
worked
did
right.
that,
just take a pottery
obviously.
class.
You know, I've been thinking about it so
We'll
much.
take a pottery class when all of this
I'd
is
love to.
Pottery
There's an
for
annex
all
over
when
in,
this is over.
I've been meaning to.
Is there anything in this house?
You can
I will
hold
look
the door
around.
open
Pull the
and
door
begin
open?
to look around. Go
All
ahead and
right,
make
cool.
a perception or investigation.
See, when I said rip the door, I
Investigation.
wanted to rip the door off to go inside. But,
23.
I mean, mending it.
23, okay.
Might have
As you
helped the
carefully
structure
make
stay
your way
up.
in, looking around the space and getting to inspect. Indeed, most of the second floor fell inward. It's because you see there is a staircase that would spiral upward, but the staircase is partially broken and fallen. You can see the space where it went up is now filled with heavy wooden support bars that are just kind of jammed ramshod down from the upper floor. The interior here has furniture scattered about, and once again gives a glimpse of what may have been a nice, kind of family space. You can see what looked to be planters and
Peanuts?
tables with decor on them that have tipped over and shattered. There's
Cases of
shards of
Planters
pottery on the
peanuts.
ground, and you can see a number of skeletal bodies that are kind of scattered amongst the rubble.
He said outside,
one
skeletal,
does catch your
mummified. One
A
catches
little,
attention.
little different from the other corpses, similar to one that you had encountered in one of the previous ruins. It looks humanoid, but you can see it pulled apart, and at first glance, it's not mummified like the others. It's metallic, with intricate scrolling on it. Where the joints
scrolling.
would be, you see almost like a striated dark material, like a rubberish, and it's just pulled apart, and half of the upper floor collapse has pinned and kind of pulled it in twine. You can see the head partially exposed, and it looks like a human-sized head, but the features, it is almost like a metallic smooth helmet with features kind of carved into it, sockets where eyes would be, and a
What?
jaw that is pulled off.
Cool.
Robots, y'all. Robots.
Yeah.
Can I fish around in that body for some shiny objects?
Sure.
Or some gears or some cool tech?
So it is a
Go for
robot.
it. Go ahead and make an investigation.
I
check
mean,
for
that's
that
what
one.
it sounds like. He said robots.
28.
Robots.
28.
Robots.
It's easy enough to pull apart kind of the body, like the upper area where the metallic chest cavity would be. It's partially already pried apart from how it was destroyed, and as you kind of pick it off, you can see in the center of it, amongst all the, it is an odd combination of like arcane tethers and runic, circular, affixed creations that you don't fully understand, but a lot of it seems pulled and broken. In the middle of it, there is a small orb, a smooth orb that just kind of sits. It's untouched.
Let's take that.
Like where the heart would be ish?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
its power
I'm gonna try to take that.
core.
Okay.
Underneath the ribs?
My
Yeah,
guess
when
is
you
it's
pull
like
the
a
chest plate off, you can see
maybe like a
within
power
there.
core or something
So
that
you go ahead and pull
is
down,
either
and
drained or
it doesn't take too much. You see that as the chest plate that was on front was kind of what was partially holding it in place, and the other half of its exterior kind of secure cavity is now left open. So you, a little bit of pulling and twisting, pull it free. It's just a little smooth crystal. Doesn't seem to have any color to it. It's opaque, like a cloudy, opaque color, white, I guess, if anything, but just looks like a smooth sphere.
Caleb, when you feel better, maybe you could identify this
yeah.
for me.
I mean, right now we don't really know, but
Well,
that
if
thing
we
is definitely
Stuff for
something
a
you
while,
want to
we can do that,
investigate.
certainly.
I think this is the place to take just a little while to rest and get
Before
you
we
back
go
to
any deeper.
before we go any deeper.
Wait, Caduceus, remember you asked me for a skull head? Do you think that would work with this?
Well, that one doesn't seem to have a jaw.
Yeah, I don't
which
think
is
it works
definitely a
quite
bit of
the
a
same way.
problem.
Right, and it doesn't have a soul potentially either.
Well, I mean, who knows?
I don't know how these things work.
I don't know either.
I don't know either. I don't think it would work.
Not necessarily
Well, I
say
don't
no
know.
to taking it
Do
with
robots
us.
have souls?
We have room.
What's a robot?
What's a
I mean,
robot?
that's a good point.
Oh, this is the
We're stopping.
This is the Schwarzenegger.
this is this one.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, that is where we're stopping for Mighty Nine time because I said I'll stop around 1:37. This ends at 2:17. This gives us 40 minutes, if my math is correct, 40 minutes exactly to the break. There is an hour and 40 minutes after the break. We add the two together, we get 2 hours, 20 minutes on next week's live stream. That is after we just did like a almost 30-minute YouTube video, the full hour of Patreon. We missed the 30 minutes in last week's live stream because we didn't hit 50 likes. But this week, I'm going to make sure I post early. We're going to make sure we get to 50 because I can't imagine we don't. We've been having short live streams. I've been shortening up the YouTube videos to add to the live streams to make them 2 hours, give or take. But it's been a struggle to get 2 hours out of a live stream. So this one coming up, we clearly have way more time to build to the 50 likes. Also more time. This is pretty awesome what we're dealing with right here. In the Patreon hour, I already said we had to fight the beasties. We took both of them down. We now go deeper in and we hit the entrance to the, what did he call it? The Paradise Ward? The Paradise Ward or something like that. Either way, we are sort of at the beginning. I know we were through where we killed the beasties, but this is like kind of the beginning of what now we're seeing of the city of Aor. We're seeing bodies. He is saying they're skeletons, mummified bodies. I was wondering that because I'm like, all right, we see the city. We're seeing parts of the city. We're seeing all this stuff around, but why aren't there bodies? I'm thinking, did everybody get teleported out of here or something? Like, all these thoughts were going through my head as far as where the people were, because the city's there destroyed. So I'm thinking, like, maybe there was some sort of intervention or something, but no, we have bodies everywhere, skeletal and mummified. So I'm guessing the incident either incinerated the people, hence the skeletal bodies, or like it was so extreme it mummified them, because otherwise who would go around and mummify properly all these bodies? So obviously there's a reason they're mummified. It had to be the incident, but there was so much going on. Obviously there's doors sticking into mountains. There's things askew. There's things like not as they normally should be because of the way in which Aor crashed into our world. So we're at the beginning. We asked a bunch of questions. Like I said, we reiterated several times, even in this, the way it was worded. I don't think it's going to be a problem because they've talked about it enough where I feel like unless Matt is going to be like, well, you didn't word the question too well, they're actually up ahead of you. Because I did during just recently, I was saying how technically he could say, like if Jester goes, are the Tomb Takers less than a day behind us? And he goes, you could say that. That's how the Traveler said it. He goes, you could say that. Are they less than a day behind us? You could say that could also mean they're ahead of us. Am I wrong to think that? I feel like it might not be the case, but I feel like there is an easy way for Matt to answer that as yes, and them still be ahead of us because they're less than a day behind us, but they're ahead of us. I know you guys know what I'm talking about, but like, I feel like that is a crucial problem in the wording that probably has no relevance whatsoever. It probably isn't going to affect anything, but it's bothering me that that was worded that way because one, it didn't give us an exact location because they're all sort of mocking it like, yeah, like it could be a minute or 24 hours or 23 and a half hours. Like there's such a large span there. So they're sort of like saying what I'm saying where that wasn't worded properly, but I'm looking at it even beyond that. So now we're investigating this house. We fix this door. We go inside. There's a robot. To put it in easier words, there is a robot there. We don't have robots where we are. So this is this magical city where they have advanced technology. Can we do what Yasha was saying? Like, can Caduceus talk to the head of the robot? Probably not. But I don't know. Maybe we can. It has an orb-like heart, or at least did have some sort of crystal in it that looked like it was a heart, so to speak. But I don't think it would have worked the way we wanted to. But we need to get ahead. Literally get ahead and have Caduceus do his magic and figure this out. So I'm going to end it there. I'm going to go edit this up. You guys want to see the Patreon Hour exclusive for every episode of Campaign 2. In the description is the link for Patreon where you can ask me to watch whatever you want at a certain tier level. That's how we get thousands of exclusives like Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Person of Interest, My Hero Academia, Toriko, and Bleach. Vox Machina Season 3 is starting in a couple weeks. Cobra Kai and Stranger Things final seasons very soon. Jackie Chan movies every month. There are so many things full unedited. Check it out. We just started Good Omens and Pushing Daisies. Check it out. If not, comments down below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.